All right, we are live for the Spinnin Backfist MMA show, UFC Mexico City edition, also Bellator versus PFL edition, I guess you could say, because we had a lot of fights today, a lot of good fights, a lot of good finishes, some weird scorecards, some weird moments. But it is Robbie Fox, Jack Mac Lee, Big Ev, as always, here to recap everything for you immediately after the fights. We'll start with the main event. We'll start with the battle of the Brandons too. Brendan Moreno versus Brendan Royval. Big upset in the main event. Brendan Royval defeats Brandon Moreno. Some crazy scorecards. Obviously, there was the one judge had 49-46 Moreno, which didn't make sense. And then you look at the scorecards. Everyone had it for Royval in round 5, or for Moreno in round 5, which was very weird, very confusing. What'd you guys make of the fight, though?
Yeah, I thought it was the right. I mean, 49-46 Moreno was insane.
Crazy.
I thought, if it was 49-46 anyway, it should have been Royval. I thought there was a decent argument for Royval, literally 2-5. I thought 3 and 4, I thought he won like maybe easily as strong, but I thought convincingly. I mean, he's a dog. I was surprised at Moreno's lack of output later on, but I mean, Moreno just walked him down. He kind of melted him. Great performance.
Yeah. After the first round and even parts of the second round, I really thought Moreno was just going to cruise, not even cruise, because, Royval's going to give that elite effort even in a loss. But he didn't lose tonight. He really just took over 2, 3, 4. And there was even parts of 5 that he looked really good. I was really shocked at Moreno's kind of lack of cardio at the end. Even though he won the 5th round on every single scorecard, it felt like he needed that 5th round, and clinching on and hanging on to Royval twice was, it felt like he was almost a little bit tired, which I know elevation, 5 rounds, Royval, huge pace, but hell of a performance by Royval. I mean, there's not much to say. It's like, he really just A+.
That was a big narrative of the whole night, was the elevation. They were at 7,000 something feet, Mexico City, and we saw it take effect in a couple fights. We saw the cardio fail people, even in some 3-rounders early on and stuff. The chat is saying, let's talk about Ortega, T-City, with a vintage T-City submission. First submission win in the UFC since 2020. A huge win over Yair Rodriguez. And a huge comeback. He got dropped in round 1. He started getting it poured on him, and then round 2, sorry guys, I'm delirious. I woke up at 5 in the morning for Elimination Chamber. I feel like I barely even remember this UFC card. But yeah, Ortega, the way he just fucking slammed Yair down, elbow right into the arm triangle, was awesome. And then his post-fight interview is pretty awesome too. And he's like, no, I'm translating for myself. And he had the crowd going crazy for him.
And then I was, not to, as you said, you're delirious. I mean, we almost lost him before the fight started.
That too. Yeah, he does a fucking big jump as Bruce Buffer's introducing him. He rolls his ankle. That was crazy too. And the fact that they were so on it, showing replays as the fight was starting, was like, Jesus Christ. It had our brain everywhere.
I was just, when that happened, I was like, and he mentioned it after. He was like, he relied. He said, it was like, no, God's gonna push me through. But it felt like God didn't want him to fight, but he did, and he won. I mean, unbelievable. He also alluded to getting his life on track. Maybe after the injury and whatnot, you never know. Maybe whatever, recreational drugs, alcohol, you name it. Especially after surgeries, you hear that so often, and it's good for him. And he ran over to his kids, which was awesome. He had his kids there all week. And then
they did the face off with him earlier.
Yeah,
on
was
day.
Broken. Even heading into round 3. Once he got on top with 4 minutes, I was like, this is over. And I mean, that was just truly, and we've said it. I named it this. We tweeted it, vintage Ortega, vintage Randy Orton, vintage Brian Ortega. There's that was, he took him to deep waters, and I can't believe he survived that onslaught in the first round. He really did, and yeah, shout out to Ortega. I mean, is he next?
I think he might be.
He might
I
be, yeah.
I think there's a pretty good chance because I think they would. I mean, obviously him just kind of having some of the Mexican background, you could definitely sell that in Spain if they end up going there next for the main event. I mean, you said it was. I mean, we've seen him take much worse beatings and come back. Maybe even not win, but even like the Volkanovski fight, some of the crazy like Russell he had like coming out stronger later in that fight. I mean, he needs to get hit a little bit to wake up. He's a zombie. Like when he gets hurt and it like activates Ortega's zombie mode, and then he just he needs to have like both his eyes like bludgeoned, and then he'll just choke you out. He's a stud. When he's on point, he's an absolute stud.
And obviously, like we mentioned, the layoffs, they don't really do much to him. He takes layoffs all the time, but he doesn't have ring rust. He never does.
Yeah, he's done it a million. He's done it a bunch of times. He's looked good pretty much every time.
That bruise he had under his eye, it was great corner work. We always think of Donald Cerrone and whatnot, but they were like, "Don't blow your nose, don't blow your nose, don't blow your nose," because that eye would have blown up. But sorry, like, is that actually Aaron Bronson? No way.
I don't know if it is. If it is, shout out Aaron.
I think that is.
I think it is too. It's on Twitter. That's profile
awesome.
picture.
I didn't know if
That's
it was like a fake one because you can't see like in there. But Ortega, I mean, yeah, like I'm happy it's Ortega rather than Yair against Topuria, but Ortega against Topuria, I mean, it doesn't really like interest me that much, but it is like, I mean, I think the UFC prefers it. Ortega's a bigger star.
Ortega's also, he's one of those guys where he can land a submission at any moment, any point in the fight. So any fight you set him up for, you can sell on that. Like, it's not even like a puncher's chance. I mean, he does have a puncher's chance. He's got great hands, obviously, but like, it's like a jiu-jitsu chance, like however you want to call it, like that. Yeah.
And he's so like when he's on sometimes like a lot of these jiu-jitsu guys, like even when they're on, they get on top. It seems like they don't do a lot. Ortega's going for it at all times, and it's entertaining to watch. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Topuria would do to him because like Topuria hits hard, but I mean, like look at the Emmett fight. Like he hit him hard for 5 rounds, but like Ortega, like if he sticks around, there's always that threat, that allure. But Ilya is what I think he's a black belt, 2-time black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I don't know if like Ortega would, but it's still a good, like I think it's a decent fight.
And you mentioned the corner work. Oh, go ahead, Lee.
I was just saying for the next featherweight title, if Max loses to Justin, or if this is a better way to word it, if Max beats Justin, is he going to go for the 155 belt next or the 145 belt next?
So Big Ev and I were talking about this on Friday, and was like we think the Oliveira Sarukian is a title eliminator, right? However, what happens if like Gaethje knocks out Holloway in round 1, or Holloway knocks out Gaethje in round 1? Like, does that jump out? Like, does that put those guys and jump them over? Like, let's say Oliveira wins or Sarukian wins by decision, or not as impressive or whatnot. It would be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what they would do in that case, because obviously, like with a highlight reel knockout, you can easily sell a fight with Holloway or Gaethje, but I don't know if they would I don't think they would hop Oliveira, even if Oliveira like won decision.
Yeah, because I mean, he's such a star.
Yeah, I think Charles win, I think pretty much would put him number 1 in that power ranking, but I think pretty much any other scenario, a highlight reel could get it for any of the three other guys.
Yeah,
If
I
Charles
think
doesn't
you're
win.
probably right.
Like if Sarukian wins, would they and Gaethje wins? I wouldn't be shocked if they gave it to Gaethje.
No, not at all.
No.
Not
Just
at all.
because, I mean, also Gaethje's age, Sarukian and Islam have already fought. I know it was like you can build it that way, but I mean, like Islam still won. I know Sarukian was on short notice, and so much has happened since then. But Gaethje's like, I mean, he's a star. I don't even think you can compare him and Sarukian from a pure pay-per-view perspective.
No. And we were talking about the corner work. I just got to shout out the corner of Francisco Prado tonight for telling him, you don't need eyes. Just fight. Go out there and fight. Just look at the general chest area. I think they said at some point. That was some of the funniest, greatest corner advice I've ever heard. You don't need eyes. And Michael Bisping quote tweeted and was like, facts. Like, basically, these guys are right. They know what they're talking about. They don't need eyes.
Well, that's hilarious for Bisping. There was a moment from, I think maybe it was Felder. He was like, they're kind of right. Like, and then they were like saying, like, just get him up against the fence and like throw it to the body. You don't need eyes. I mean, it was, hey, if your guy can't really see out of one eye, like, I mean, the option is to stop the fight, or you tell him you don't need your eyes. Like, just go out there and use. That's something like almost like to shout out the GOAT. What's his name? Poton was just working with him.
Tim Sylvia? Oh, no. Steven Seagal?
Steven Seagal. That seems like something out of his book. Like, he doesn't need eyes in a martial arts setting.
That was a crazy fight, though. That just like the fucking grit, the resilience of Prado. It's pretty impressive.
Prado's going to be in the UFC for a long time.
Yeah.
He's so young. I mean, a guy that fights like that will always have a place on the UFC roster.
Yeah.
Dana I think just the length and stuff was a problem for him. I think he beats a lot of dudes at lightweight.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I really was impressed by Zellhuber. He rolled with punches really well. I know Prado, like the reach advantage was huge, but like Zellhuber's build in that division is like it's perfect. And I don't think he's like a future champ or anything, but he's somebody he's still really young. And I know that first fight against Trey Ogden was just so blah. But since then, he's done all right. And this was something he had to do. I guess you would have liked to see put Prado out, but I mean, he did almost everything else. Like, Prado's just like one of those sick sons of bitches that is just like, you can't, like, you have to kill him. Like, he's gonna die in the cage. But I really like Zellhuber. I'm interested to see how far he can really take it, because the way he uses the jab. And who was in his corner? Was that Eric? Yeah. So, I mean, like, I think he has pretty good coaching too. So, like, he's somebody that really could be a guy to keep an eye on.
For sure.
Eric Nixick from Extreme Couture.
Eric, yeah, yes. And he won Coach of the Year, right, Lee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lee, what did you think of Zellhuber?
Decent guy. I think that if he trusts his power a little bit more, I think he'd be like, because he has just natural power, and I don't think he really knows how to use it. And that's weird saying. I know it is, because he like busted Prado up, and obviously that. But I don't feel like with any of his shots, he's like really like emphasizing it as much, which I think would be like the next progression for him. I think he's really good. I think he's developing still, and we are seeing him get better each time that he comes out of the cage. He had his bad performance in his debut, and ever since that, he's looked really good. I took away from that fight, like, he can be easily a top 10 fighter one day. I think he's really good.
Yeah, I think that's like I don't know if he learns how to use the power, it'd be huge. But like right now, I mean, I think he could definitely be a top 15 fighter pretty soon, which would be. Yeah. I mean, also, it's like, I mean, we see what the UFC is doing in Mexico. Like, they just love Mexican fighters, and also would love to see Zell Hubert be kind of a star. And then, I mean, they have another star. Oh, that would be interesting. T-Rex got a fight, right? There was an announcement.
He's fighting on that May 11th, I think.
Yeah,
St.
he's fighting
Louis.
about that.
Steamroller. That's going to be a good fight.
Is he fighting? Is it Ribovics who he's fighting?
Yes.
And the Steamroller fight, that's a banger.
Michael Johnson.
Steamroller Michael Johnson. Yeah, that's a hell of a fight.
They're saying St. Louis live crowd.
That'd be awesome.
Need a live
crowd for this was great. I mean, they were loud and rowdy for the early prelims. Them getting their guys winning, they were going nuts. And then we saw that fucking brawl in the crowd. That was outrageous. I had back-to-back blogs like, this crowd is awesome. There's a massive brawl in the crowd. People getting knocked out.
I rarely use this word. I would call that a melee.
Yeah, that was a melee.
That was a
it was
melee. There was fists going left and right. There must have been 8 to 12 people involved in this fight.
I counted at least 8. Yeah, at
that
least.
Was crazy. And they all were so close to the cage.
Yeah.
Like usually you see like the bleacher creatures throwing hands like that, not like the
Yeah.
paid like every person that fought paid at least 4 figures for that ticket.
Yeah.
Robbie, it almost
all
looks
of them
like
thrown out.
you went to a show recently. I saw it on your Instagram story where there was like a pit in the middle. And
a mosh pit.
Mosh pit. It seemed like one of those from like a true metal band. And like,
yeah,
I know the mosh pits don't really have fights, but like if the mosh pits had like a few
they got
fights
limbs
going on.
swinging, yeah. It was basically a mosh pit, melee, kerfuffle, whatever you want to call it. It was fucking crazy. One guy knocked out 2 guys. One guy's throwing standing hammer fists at everyone. Yeah, crazy shit going on in the crowd.
Every time I think of a mosh pit now, I can't help but think of that video, Bob, you showed it to me, where the kid does like, they're like, they have the playing music and the kid does like the spinning like kick and like hits the girl in the face.
And she just eats it.
Yeah. Craziest videos of all time.
That girl
just out of pure excitement just hits like a spinning roundhouse kick in the middle of a mosh pit and just like smokes this girl.
That girl not falling in what was essentially like a sucker kick to the head because she didn't see it. I know he wasn't trying to do it, but like is like she should train, like get her in a ring somewhere because it's like
iron chin.
She got hit with the same kick that Roosevelt Roberts got hit with and just didn't go down.
Yeah.
and had the wherewithal to take the kick and then basically want to fight him after that.
Yeah. She got real pissed.
She like was ready to square up.
Yeah. Yasmin and Sam Hughes.
I mean,
dominant, but I feel like if she really like just really let her hands go, she could have just like ran through her.
Yeah.
You kind of just picked her apart. I feel like she was on Bonk Watch. She's
of course, from last
Bonk,
fight.
And I think she was hesitant because of that. But I mean, Sam Hughes is just Denise Gomez and Sam Hughes are just too. It's like a tiger and a house cat, respectfully.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Hughes. I mean, she ate all of them. It almost made me question Yasmin's power a little bit because like it didn't really even seem like she even got hurt at any point, and her speed was phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, Sam Hughes is Sam Hughes. I think she probably won't even get cut. Like she shows up, she's like, I mean, she doesn't seem like. I mean, this was like they pointed it out on commentary, but whenever she shot for a takedown, like she shot up top, like not down low. It's kind of weird, but. Yeah, we do have to talk about the GOAT though, El Loco.
Yeah, El Loco is awesome. Special. Torres, what a fucking slam down, like you would slam down someone that weighed 20 pounds, and then right into the submission. This guy's a fucking monster.
Like, where did this come from?
I don't know.
We never seen him grapple before.
Yeah.
Lee is waiting for the casualties. Lee is waiting for the El Loco fade, but I don't know. He
I
may
saw
just
that.
be the-
Immediately after he won, the three of us are like celebrating El Loco, and Lee's like, the fade is coming. Don't worry.
It might come
Fade is
eventually.
coming, boys.
It might come eventually, but I feel, depending on the matchup, I feel like this could be one of those where Lee ends up chasing the tail, and by the time you catch it, you've really already lost.
Oh, that is absolutely what is going to happen. I'm
'Cause I don't think
I'm
they're
already
gonna,
ahead of myself.
Like he's like, listen, he's not getting he's not getting top 15 like next. He's
No,
gonna
no.
get, like, he could get Patty. That's not like the craziest thought in the world. They might
That-
think he's too
Yeah, no,
dangerous
that's
for
a
Patty.
good point.
But I
They
mean,
could
I
do
would
that.
almost with Patty. I just feel like, not to say they're both prospects. They're more so just like two. Like, I mean, El Loco's not a star yet, but like Patty and him are completely different. But it's like, why almost ruin one?
I feel
and
like
I feel
Patty's
Patty's
probably going to fight rankings next, right?
you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, but if
Yeah,
he
so.
Like
keeps
who
winning them,
though?
I don't know.
I agree.
Honestly, you want to
Jim
know I
Miller?
could see them giving Torres to? If I could see him getting the winner of the McKinney fight.
I could see
Yeah.
that too.
him against McKinney,
him and McKinney would be like the craziest like 4-minute fight
Yeah.
of all time, maybe less.
Yeah.
fight doesn't go the distance would be minus 1,000,
Dude,
maybe
the
more.
fight under 1.5 would be minus like 350, maybe more.
I kind of want to see this fight, and I don't think they give him this fight. I think they're going to give him somebody like Llagas, like Christos Llagas. Like that's my eye for Torres. Like I think they're going to build him up kind of slowly, give him a guy that gasses. I would like to see him versus Slava Claus. Torres versus
Okay.
Slava Claus.
I don't hate that.
That'd be good.
I think that's a solid one. But
Chat saying Patty versus Alex Caceres. Patty versus
Caceres is a
Dober.
featherweight.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Patty Dober, maybe, I guess, but
Yeah.
I
think
going
it's
to
be
be like
Patty.
shocked if they made that.
Miller Green is way too easy. The winner of Miller Green is way too easy.
True.
Like
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
that makes so much sense.
And I think Green was already, I mean, I know Green was already rumored for Patty a while ago. That was like being talked about as a fight to make years ago now.
I mean, Patty has to fight. Like, I know he's our guy, but he's got to fight. Like, it's like he was out a full
I know
year.
he's having twins like any day now, I feel like.
All right, maybe it's that. Like, maybe that's what's.
I don't know if it's any day now, but I know it's soon. It's real soon.
I like
what
my
else do we have on
fighters.
this card?
I like my fighters who don't even like the wife has the kids. They just say like they say like Habib, like he doesn't really even know his kids.
Who was it tonight that said they missed the kid's birthday?
What's his name?
Barcelos, was it?
No, it was what's his name? Who fought Lacerda?
Shirez.
Oh, Shrez. Yeah, Shrez.
Yeah.
Shrez.
He had a good win tonight. Triangle. I mean, it was over Lacerda.
Lacerda. I mean, he tapped so fast.
Instant tap.
That was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I mean,
And then
The second he was in that choke, yeah.
I was like, I mean, it was a great run. Maybe one of the best 0-5. You'll probably never see an 0-5 run like that in the UFC ever.
No.
Especially your first 5.
Yeah.
It's how many guys in the UFC have gotten 5 fights and lost all of them in the UFC?
He might be the only one.
Can't be many. He might be the
Kick
first
off a
ever
career like this.
that started 0-4 and got a 5th fight.
Yeah.
But also, I will admit, watching the highlight reel, I got upset watching him. The Vergara fight should have been stopped.
Yeah, you texted that to the
Like
group.
showing highlight reels of him just dropping him 3 times. I was like, come on, man. I was like, in the third one, he like kind of goes to step in and then he doesn't. He like steps back out. And MPI, I would take Lacerda plus 360 just over and over and over again and lose every time. and every time, even the fights he doesn't hurt, I'm like, today I would still be like that. He was this side.
Yeah.
Like, to quote Frank the Tank, he tapped and he was smiling. He just got up and he started smiling. Like, it was like, bro, I don't want to be like, I love you, man. Like, I get it. You're a dangerous man, but like, your UFC career is over. Like,
Yeah. It
like,
is.
and
The only thing, he is like 23 though, right?
and
Yeah, he's young, real young.
and he did take this fight against a 131 pounder.
Oh no. He's 27.
Is he 20? Okay, I was thinking of
Never
somebody
mind.
else. I would love. Listen, if I don't think I see it. I would love if in all of a sudden we wake up in 6 years and this is just the low point. This is the low point of his shootbox Charles the Bronx title arc, and we look back at this moment and laugh, and then he comes back to the UFC in 2026 and just
Maybe.
runs through the flyweight division. Just all finishes, but I would love to see that, but I don't foresee it.
Agreed with this point. Ronaldo Rodriguez, formerly known as Lewis, he looked good as well.
No, I thought he looked awful. He stinks.
Yeah, Bonder fumbled so bad. The one back position that he slid off the back, if he doesn't slide off the back, I think he submits him.
Bonder is another one of these guys. It's just like, get him out, like cut him, like send him back, like send him home. Like, if I was on Bondar, I would have been saying some nasty things. Like, bad things.
Oh my God. Jack, you read my mind, because I'm so glad I was staring at that line this entire week.
Me too.
Don't make me bet Bondar. Like, don't make the line like plus 115, plus 120. Don't make me do it. And I thank God the other people were getting Bondar, because if that was me, that not good.
Speaking of like lines that made me do it, that instant regret. I looked at Ryan Bader plus 20, and I was like, I mean, he could get the wrestling going, and he just
the most bonkable guy of all time in that fight. It was just the first shot, boom, fight over. Francis Ngannou got the hell out of there. Didn't even get in the cage.
I will say, for the PFL, that Renan Ferreira Ngannou, like, it's just gonna sell from a visual perspective. I mean, Ngannou's the much better fighter, but like, that will sell. Like,
you could say, look, this guy can bonk people. What if he could bonk Francis?
And Renan Ferreira was the guy that, like, Don Davis, when we first met him, like, he was obsessed with. He was always they bring him everywhere, and he took some tough losses in the PFL. But good for him. I think Ngannou runs through him, but it's gonna sell. It's gonna sell. It's that visual, even the visual of Bader against standing next to Renan, like, it didn't look real.
It was crazy. Yeah. It was two different weight classes, like literally two different specimens there. And shout out to all the Bellator fighters that we had on the show: Aaron Pico, Jason Jackson, Johnny Eblin, 3-0.
Yeah, the main event, I would say, like, once every 6 months, I have like a little a pre-fight or pre-game like gambling epiphany. And I was the good gambling lord came down and blessed me today on the Problema. Like during walkouts, I bet Renan plus 200 first round KO and plus 425 like under a half a round.
Wow!
I just had this every 6 months. I didn't go crazy on it, but I get like a touch of God. I remember it happened to me when Charles fought Dustin. It happened to me. Just like a little something like a little birdie on my shoulder was like, you know what's gonna happen in this fight. Like, he's gonna bomb it. And thank God. But I know Johnny's already talked about, like, he got clipped, but I thought he responded well.
Yep.
Maybe even someone like him. Like, I still think the hype on him is still somewhat warranted. I think he's getting some backlash. People being like, he's just had, obviously, everyone from his camp, from like Masvidal, all these guys have just been like, oh, like, he's the best 185er, he's the best 185er. So I know today maybe wasn't the best for like his best 185 or like street cred, but I still think he's really good. I mean, he clearly, like, if that's a 5-round fight, I think he even ends up getting him out of there.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
So I
Yeah,
think
he was
it
taking
was
over
one of those,
big
like,
time.
probably like maybe a little humbling, that, like, not even humbling, because I don't think he's like cocky, but like just a little, like, he needed to take a shot in a fight, like show he can rebound from it, show the mental toughness. I mean, I guess he really did it his last fight too, with the big cut.
Yeah.
The Edwards fight. So I guess he's had done it back-to-back fights, but
It was good,
That's
man.
Yeah.
He is.
Like, I was always in the camp. I don't think he ever should have gotten cut from the UFC. And it's been his greatest like accomplishment, like getting cut from the UFC and being able to go to PFL and being able to win $1 million and going to co-main against Eblin. But Impa's really solid, man. I think he's like a legitimate, probably top 20, top 25 middleweight in the world. And that was probably Bader's one of his toughest fights, if not his like toughest. So I thought that was really solid out of him. Came through.
Abilene, you mean? You said
Or
Bader.
You said Bader, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Evelyn.
2 in the morning recording, people. This is what happens. We're a little delirious. We're getting some fighters' names mixed up.
Why was John Jones there?
I don't know. Saudi must have thrown the bag at him. He wasn't cornering anyone, right?
how much do you think they paid Tyson to be there and just give
Oh
up the
my
belts?
God. Crazy money.
What do we set the
Millions.
over under at? Like 2.5 mil just to be
I
there?
I think like 5.
You think 5?
And I think
And 10
Saudi,
wouldn't surprise me. Like,
No.
I think they throw ridiculous money.
I saw somewhere, and this was even something that we got told at Barstool, Saudi handled the marketing for the event. So, like, they probably, like, that was a like, Bellator PFL, they probably have a budget. And I know Tyson's been involved with it before, but bring him over like that, having him in between, yeah, whatever number. I don't think a number would surprise me. Under 10 million.
Yeah.
Because
they had him there. They had the little back and forth with Francis where he was like, he said, I'll beat Stipe, Tom Aspinall, and then Francis. And they cut to Francis and he was like, in your dreams, you're a fat piece of shit or something.
Yeah, you call him fat.
Yeah.
Which like, I was even thinking, let's say John Jones really does retire. And I'm in the camp that he's going to stick around. But he is looking a little old. The Ngannou Aspinall talk may get crazy. Even the Ngannou Pavlovich talk would get a little crazy like it. But I know Ngannou obviously is going to find the PFL, but he may be just like a boxer now. And I don't blame him. I mean, go get paid, bro. But he may just kind of be that.
If he somehow beats Joshua, he'll never fight MMA again. I don't think.
No, that's 100%. Yeah.
I'll say I'd be shocked if he did. If he won and fought
and maybe he'll do one more to fulfill the PFL contract or whatever. But like, even if he puts up another competitive fight like he did against Fury, he's just a boxer. Then he's just boxing with the best heavyweights in the world.
Yeah, even if he, like you said, if he has a competitive fight with Joshua, I think you could, even and loses, you could still sell like the Wilder fight. You could still sell even Wilder coming off a loss. Because they're just gonna throw bombs at each other, and if he wins, then you could book literally like anything you want, anyone's game.
Yeah. Anything else from either card worth bringing up before we all go to bed?
The Jesus Aguilar decision was a very
a bunch of 4 split decisions on a 12-fight card tonight.
Alta Moreno, I thought won.
I definitely thought one.
Yeah,
I had a bet on Aguilar, and I felt like I was stealing.
Me too. Agreed. I definitely wasn't expecting that.
And Aguilar should have finished him in the 3rd round. That was very annoying. Outside of that,
I had Aguilar sub 3 and Mendonca money line. Killed me. Killed me.
Bad.
No, that's like how that played out, Lee, is like literally you literally
Brutal.
capped it perfectly. Like you predicted it perfectly and you got $0 or even less. You lost the money.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But some people are in the chat that came in and was talking.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have
Raul
to talk,
Roses.
yeah. Also, have you seen the videos? Bro was not sick. He was not sick.
You're saying not sick? I saw a picture of him on the floor.
No.
What was that picture? Yeah, I saw the picture too. That was all I saw.
I didn't see the video.
I got it. ESPN MMA posted a TikTok. That guy's not. That guy. I'm pulling it up. I'm gonna show it.
They rebooked the fight to next week. They're saying it's just going to happen on Saturday, so he can't be that sick.
Guy put on his best fit.
I don't know if that.
Bro, he's not sick.
Like I could walk when I'm sick.
Nah, bro, this guy's not sick. They said like he fought all day to try to make it work. Look at this guy, bro. He's not sick. Look at
he's saying a prayer. He's like, please God, let me be able to fight.
Nah, Tercios was about to give him that work.
I pray I can get Tercios again next week. Sub 3.
Give me plus 190 again. It's auto bet.
It's not even that. It's this fucking round 2, round 3 would have been perfect at elevation. That guy was going to gas. He was gonna gas, and Tercios wasn't gonna get subbed. It was perfect. It was the best bet. It was the best bet ever.
The round 3 Tercios TKO for like 25 to 1. The boys are going to be fired up in the chat.
It was the greatest bet ever. If he survived round 1, we were all going to be rich. And look at this guy. He's not sick, bro. He's not. He's looking. Bro,
have you ever seen a sick man wearing a turtleneck? Never.
You know, that's a good point. To throw on the turtleneck while you're sick is
my man's wearing his best rock outfit.
Why do people on TikTok keep saying meep meep to him?
Like the
looks like the
Roadrunner?
Roadrunner or something?
Yeah, it says they keep saying meep meep, let's go. Like it's
Does
every comment on this TikTok.
Does he
meep meep?
Does he run away? He ran away from the fight.
Oh, is that it?
No, it was.
It could
people
be
were commenting
like the little like in the cartoon. He always like sprints away from fucking
from the coyote.
Yeah. I believe
that was a.
This brother is not sick.
Did bro have the shits or something? What if he had the shits?
Then he definitely should have fought.
How about that girl that Lee sent us that pissed herself, choked out, pissed herself mid-fight? That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Crazy.
Oh man.
All right.
I think that was like the LFA co-main last night or something like that.
I think it was LFA. I saw that on the mat. I blogged it and I specifically didn't do any research as to what her name was because I wanted to just save her that embarrassment. I don't want to put her name attached to that, you know.
Like how do you come back to your gym after your local gym after that?
Well, I said that's the thing I said in my blog is like you enter a fight at any level, you think in your mind, what's the worst, most embarrassing outcome for this? And you probably think it's me getting knocked out in front of everyone. You don't realize the possibility of you pissing yourself is on the table.
They're saying meep meep because he's the Tasmanian devil.
Oh. Because he does, yeah.
Also, the clip of like him from the most and it's like wow.
Yeah, that does get me every time.
I watch it 100 times. Every time the volume will just make me laugh.
Oh, he's
also the interview. If you haven't seen the clip, like the clip of him saying he lost his virginity at 14, that was just absolutely just lying.
Yeah, and then Rampage hits him with a classic, like the Paulie Walnuts. Like, oh, what was his name?
Yeah, he just like didn't get it. He was like, "What?"
He's like, "You hear what I said, Tone?" I said, "What was his name?" All right, that was the Spinnin Backfist show for UFC Mexico City, Bellator PFL. We will be back next week to break down another card next week, and hopefully we'll have some news to break down before then as well.